definitely more vibrant than on the Instagram iPhone. I mean, look at the man. If you guys are on TikTok, you guys are getting that full enchilada. All right, so we're live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm having a problem with. That's okay. So what we're going to talk about right now is the buyer's conversation, right? Because so many agents that we talk to right now, right? So who am I? I'm Vikram Deol. Who cares about who I am? But here's why I'm relevant. Here's why you should listen. In my short career, we did over, probably did over, I don't know, 300 or 400 buyer consultations, maybe even more than that. 89% of agents, all right, 89% of agents currently do not have a buyer's presentation. 89% of agents do not have a buyer's presentation. And you're going to say, well, I only want to focus on listings anyways, Vikram. Well, that's great. 66% of all buyers, 66% of all buyers in 2023 actually had a home to sell. And they weren't looking to sell their home. They were looking to what? They were looking to buy a house first. So you might say to me, hey, we're good not having a buyer presentation because all we want is sellers. That's fine. But a seller is not selling unless they have a house to buy. Watch this right now. Go type in inventory, right, in your Google browser. Go type in inventory in your Google browser. What are you going to find in inventory? All-time lows in inventory. Inventory doesn't exist, right? That's what you're going to find is inventory doesn't exist. And if inventory doesn't exist, well, why would a seller want to start thinking about selling their home or buying a house if they are under the impression that they can't find a new home? Now, write this down, you guys. Write this down. If you're driving, come back to this live. The Real Estate Sales Dojo, this will be posted inside of the Real Estate Sales Dojo. Write this down. It is our job as agents. It is our job as agents to know how to, one, manufacture listings for the buyers we're working with. Okay. I want you to utilize that terminology, manufacture listings. When I was an agent, right, and this is what we teach our clients inside of the Real Estate Sales Academy. We have a ton of online courses. We have a ton of group courses. We even do a little bit of one-on-one for teams. But you got to have you got to have the budget to work with me one-on-one, because I'll train your team on exactly what to say in all the circumstances and situations. And your whole team will get access to our foundations course, which is super powerful, because if you don't have training, guess what you don't have? You don't have a team that is going to go out there and crush it, because real estate sales is hard. So let's go into, actually, let me just show you guys a little bit about our portal real fast, because I get questions about this from you guys all the time, right? So inside, if you guys are on Instagram or TikTok and you're watching, we got a couple people here on Instagram and TikTok. You're going to have to go through the live replay on the Real Estate Sales Dojo on Facebook. But check this out. Inside of our portal, right? Like module 1, foundation to win, right? If you guys don't know the game plan frame, you're losing out on money, a ton of money, right? Like you're losing out on a ton of money, right? This one has a Loom video, so it's easier to watch. Human behavior, tone, and psychology. All of these have videos associated with it, along with the notes, right? So like this is the step-by-step foundations course that your broker, your team leader, right, probably didn't have for you. So with that being said, right, in the chat, right, if you guys are watching live, put hashtag live. If you guys are on the replay, put hashtag replay. Yes, I stole that from my mentor, Jeremy Miner, but I also gave him close to $45,000. So I'm okay stealing some of the stuff he puts on Instagram because it's good. I like it. And he's a beast. So I want to share with you guys the buyer's presentation right now. I'm not going to share with it everything, because guess what? That's behind our paywall. But I wanted to share some things with you guys inside of our buyer's presentation. Again, if you guys are on Instagram or you guys are on TikTok, right, go join me inside the Real Estate Sales Dojo so you can get the replay. Okay. So inside of our buyers and our listing presentation, right, we have a lot of stuff. All right. And it's good stuff here. All right. I'm not going to go too far into it, but here's one of the main problems that agents have when they start a buyer strategy session. Call it a buyer strategy session. All right. Stop calling it all these funny terms, right? Call it a buyer strategy session, because then a buyer realizes that, oh my God, we have this buyer strategy session and they feel good about doing it. Okay. So inside of your buyer strategy session, don't spend the first 5 or 10 minutes talking about the weather. Don't talk about how their day is too much, right? A really good way to diffuse it is like, because it feels kind of weird for a lot of people, and I get it. So it's like, hey, how you doing today? My name's Vikram. Nice to meet you. They're going, oh, good. How are you? Oh, I'm just, trying to stay out of trouble over here. Hey, would it be okay if we got started? Right? Because there's a lot to cover and there's a short amount of time. And I want to be mindful of the time that we allocated to work together today. Right. So you could say something like that. Hey, nice to meet you. Right. If you need the buffer, right. If you need the buffer. Now, a lot of times we start off with what I call a curious tone. All right. But a curious tone does not mean that you talk slow the entire time. My boy Luke Schaefer, what's up, baby? Is on the gram. You guys, he's a beast. If you're not following Luke Schaefer, say what's up. Joey is a beast. Say what's up to him. But here's the thing. Ooh, somebody just joined the Mighty Networks. That's where I house all my training, and they're getting a lot of goodies. I love it. I love that notification sound. So here's the thing. Rapport means that we're moving the prospect forward in the sales transaction. We're helping guide them. Rapport doesn't mean we talk about like the football game, the baseball game, the weather. Right? The weather's always going to be what the weather is. Like you can look out the window. It's hot. It's hot. Hey, how's the weather? It's freaking hot, Vikram. Like, do you not feel the heat? Yeah, I feel the heat too. Why are we talking about that? Are those words, right? Are those words moving us forward in the sales process? Because we are salespeople. And I want you guys to think of the doctor-patient relationship. The doctor-patient relationship, the doctor's not like, hey, how are you doing today? Let's talk about all right now. There might be a circumstance where the doctor has a relationship over years with the patient. And in that case, the doctor might have a little bit more friendly conversation. But when we're getting to know somebody that we've never met before, it's very important that we get to business. Now, the other thing that I like to teach is the neutral tone. But here's one of the happy Monday, brother. Here's one of the weird things. When people start learning the neutral tone, what they do is they slow down the whole paragraph. And that's not how it works. So when we're being neutral, or I'm sorry, the curious tone, when we're being curious, that doesn't mean the whole time we talk slow and curious. What it means is that we modulate through our pace. So if you're calling somebody, ring, ring, and you're curious on the initial outbound call, which you should be, you're not going to stay curious the whole time. It's just weird, right? It's just weird. So what we want to do is ring, ring. Hey, Vikram. Yeah. Hey man, it's just Vikram Diol here. Right. And you want to speed up and slow down. The places where you want them to comprehend and to understand, you slow down. Everything else can be a neutral. You can even go fast so that you can get to where you want to go to slow down. All right. So when we open up the conversation, it's, hey, nice to meet you. It looks like we had booked in some time, or it looks like you had booked in some time. You had booked in some time, right? Not I booked in some time. You had booked in some time, right? Why do we say you had booked in some time? The reason we say why it looks like you had booked in some time on my calendar is because they are the ones who took the action. And we want to let them know that they took the action because we are the expert. We have the knowledge. We have the experience. We have the expertise. We have the systems. We have the processes. We are the knowledge brokers. They are here because we are going to teach them something that they don't know. We are not here to talk about sports. We are not here to talk about like all this crazy stuff. If you guys aren't following me inside the Real Estate Sales Dojo, I would go there, because then you can actually ask questions and join the conversation. And that's actually where my top clients hang out, and they'll actually answer your questions for you about like what they're learning. So like maybe you can't afford to be part of our groups right now, which, it happens. I get it. But if you join me inside the Real Estate Sales Dojo on Facebook, it'll be really great. If you want to start a funny presentation, right? Like depends on the phone call you had with the person. If your phone call, they're like, oh my God, this is a super funny character. Hey, looks like we booked in some time today to discuss, was it your home warranty or getting solar on the house? Because like, I don't know if you're aware, but your car warranty is expiring in the next 30 days. And they're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's funny. Because what does everybody say? Oh my God, we get so many cold calls from the warranty guys, from the solar people, right? So no. But it looks like you had booked in, right? Looks like you had booked in some time today to learn a little bit more about the strategies and processes necessary in order to win in today's competitive market. But I mean, if you prepare to talk about home warranties, I got a guy who's literally ready to cold call you right now. And they're gonna be like, no. Now, remember, the trust phase is where we focus in on the prospect. Okay. A lot of agents, before they start to focus on the prospect, they want to talk about their company, their stats. They want to talk about how great they are. They want to talk about how nice their car is. They want to talk about how fancy their watches are. You guys, we don't need to do that. The trust phase is where we focus on the prospect. The goal of the trust phase is to do some discovery. If we know why they're there, right, and we have an overarching goal of why they're there, we now have an ability to utilize that to help throughout the entire conversation. It's not manipulation. It's aligning their goals, right? Oop, I'm not on screen there. It's aligning their goals and what they said they wanted to your services so that they can have the outcome that they wanted, right? That is not a manipulative tactic. That is simply a strategy. You don't have to use it. That keeps people focused on why they're there. And if you don't have that answer, guess what you're missing out on? You are missing out on an opportunity to help somebody. Because I've heard from so many of our clients, oh my God, Vic, if our client would have just bought last year, what would have happened if they bought last year? They would have been in a better financial situation. Why would they have been in a better financial situation? Rates were higher, but prices were lower. Competition wasn't there. We were getting discounts on homes. So why does that matter? Because they could have got a discount on the home. And if they could have afforded the payment at 7, they would have loved it at 6. And we had a lender that would have refinanced it for free or for this, or right. But we didn't have the right conversation. Because we didn't have the right conversation, because we didn't have an overarching goal, because on a phone call, right? The problem with our outbound calls is we're so busy trying to qualify the prospect who has no idea about the complexities of buying a house. In the chat, really quick, in the chat, for those of you who aren't driving, is it easier to sell a home or buy a home? What is more complex, selling or buying a home? Right? In the chat, put what is more complex, selling or buying. In the chat, put what is more complex, selling or buying, right? I'll tell you, selling a home is a lot easier than buying a home, right? Because the agent, if they have a good process, does all the work. Buying a home is super complicated, right? Just take a pause and write down all of the different things that a buyer must do in order to win a home. A little bit of energia, little energia on the mustache, right? A little energia on the mustache. So what are the things that a buyer must do to buy a home? Well, they have to have a strategy, right? So one of the phrases that we've coined is the everyday search and show agent, right? I got that from my friend Sharon, the sitting president of Real. Right. So one of the terms you should learn, right? One of the terms you should learn is the everyday average agent. Now, is their strategy, right? What does the everyday average agent do? The everyday average agent, right? The everyday average agent. So many of my friends are jumping on Instagram. What's up, you guys? So many of the everyday average agents, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, their strategy is what? It's to send you homes. You like a home, you star the home, and then they call you to see when you want to see it. And then when you're ready to write an offer, you go and write an offer. And in our market in Sacramento, right? In our market with the dream team in Sacramento, what we're seeing is 2 to 3, 5 offers. So the everyday average agent, look, you guys, body language, you guys notice the hands, right? My hands are at chest level because I'm on a Zoom, right? My energy stays higher. When I get my stand-up desk, I'll be standing for these. I can't wait. It's been a mess with Amazon. Ordered 3 desks. They said they're going to ship them. Then they said they can't ship them. Then they gave me a $25 credit. Then they gave me a $100 credit, a $50 credit. Oh, I just want the desk. I don't want more credits. It's been waiting a month. I need the desk. I got to teach people. So I got to keep my hands here at chest level. Now, when you're presenting, right, because you're going to be presenting across a table or you're going to be sitting side by side, you don't need your hands at chest level, but you also don't want your hands down here. It's a very weird thing when your hands are low, right? So if your hands are on a table, you want your hands to come up, right? You want to have your hands come up, not like we're doing an exercise, woo, 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 doing the wave, right? You want your hands to be naturally flowing, right? It's really important when we start presenting. The other thing we have to get good at when we're presenting is, because what we teach inside of our program, right, is that you're going to have a manila folder with some things in it. You need to get practice at opening the folder, taking things out, continuing the conversation, passing them over, turning them upside down, turning them right side up, having a pen so you can write on them, right? You need to be comfortable presenting. The reason why a lot of buyer's agents don't present is, one, they don't have the $1 billion, right, consultation, master doc, right? That's what we call it, but it's actually the $1 billion. It's actually the $1 billion strategy session, right? The buyer strategy session. So when you're talking to a buyer, has anybody sat down and done a buyer strategy session with you? Well, no, I thought we just looked at houses. And then when we saw something we liked, yeah, that could be a little problematic. Why is that problematic? Because is buying a home harder or selling a home? What is more difficult, buying a home or selling a home? Right? Put it in the chat. What is more difficult, buying or selling a home? Well, we all know the truth that buying a home is 10 times harder than selling a home, because the buyer has inspections, the buyer has financing, the buyer has appraisals, the buyer has multiple offers, right? The buyer has competition, the buyer has financing, right? Are we underwritten, approved? Or are we just going for a pre-approval? Do they have weird financing challenges, right? Do they need to borrow money? Do they need to take money, right? In our market, buying, multiple offers, contingencies. Yeah, you guys, when I was actively selling, we did $250 million, right? I did over 125, $150 million personal sales in real estate in about 5 years. I've been in your shoes, and I'm not some guru talking. I actually won multiple offer situations because everything we did had a buyer strategy session before we actually went out, wrote offers. So the first thing we need is an overarching goal. You guys had plenty of time to see that. Okay. The second thing we need to do is we need to build a gap, right? We need to build a gap where they're at today to where do they want to be, right? Where are they at today? Why are they looking at property? Don't worry about pre-approvals. Don't worry about how much they're approved for. Don't worry about what they think their budget is. Don't worry about any of that stuff. What we want to do, right? Multiple offer contingency market, no contingency markets. Oh, Mama Bear's on Instagram. What's up, Mama Bear? Number one supporter. Gotta love Mama. What we want to do, right, is build a gap, right? So where are you at today and where would you like to be? One of the great things about being a part of our group, one of our advanced programs, is that you get feedback from other agents who are taking our frameworks and our psychology-based training, and they're creating their own. So one of the questions that one of our top clients, Molly, loves asking is, well, hey, tell me what's different, right? Tell me what's different about the home you want to be in versus the home you're currently in, right? So what we're doing is we're taking their current state and then we're helping future pace to what their ideal state is, right? And what we do is we build a gap. So, hey, tell me like tell me, hey guys, so tell me like about what's different about the home that you want to live in versus the home you guys are currently in. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to give them some options of ways to answer. So are you guys like currently in a house or a condo? Oh, we're in a house. Okay. And is that house like, is it too big or too small? These are called sorting questions. Sorting questions allow them to sort their thoughts out. Oh, well, no, our house is currently too small. Oh, and like, I guess, like, what's small about it? Is it the backyard's not big enough, or do you not have enough space, like bedrooms and bathrooms? Well, no, the backyard's definitely too small. We got 3 kids, but we don't have enough bedrooms because we're in a 3-bed, 2-bath. But what we need now is like a 5-bed, 3.5-bath. The daughter's 14. She's sharing a room with the 8-year-old boy. Now the boy's like, it's, like there's things that are happening. We want the kids to be at home in the backyard, not at the neighbor's house, because one of the neighbor's kids, he's 22. So he's having parties and he's having friends over. Oh, wait. So you have to hear what they say. So I gave you guys 2 options right there. Option number 1 was what? In the chat, put option number 1. Option number 1 was the kids are sharing a bathroom or a bedroom, and we have a teenager daughter and we have an 8-year-old son, right? So there's a problem there, but I don't know what the problem is. I can assume, but I don't want to assume. The second thing was the kids are going to the neighbor's house and the neighbor's having parties. Which kid's going to the neighbor's house, and why is that a problem? So you have 2 lanes that I gave you. 2 lanes that I gave you. Which lane do you choose? Well, maybe you go down both. So wait, hold up. Which kid of yours is going to the neighbor's house that's having all these parties? What's up, Sean? I hope to see you in a couple hours tonight. Which lane do you help them go down? So we go down the lane of the kids are in a small house and they are sharing a bathroom and what the problem is there. Or do we go down the lane of probing and clarifying on the kids are going to the party? I think the bigger gap is the party, right? And the way that I'm going to get them to that is this. So wait, hold on. Is having like you said the boy and the girl are sharing a bathroom or a bedroom? No, a bathroom. So wait, so there's 3 beds, 3 kids. Where's the other kid sleeping? Oh, he's in our room. Oh, how old is he? He's 3. So now I got 14, 8, and 3. See, I didn't have to ask the age of the kids directly. We do it through conversation, through skill. Okay. And so them sharing a bathroom and like you being only in a 3-bed, 2-bath house, like what impact is that having on your guys' like, I don't know, daily life? Are they like fighting over the bathroom, or is the house just so loud and somebody works from home? Another sorting question, blah, 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 blah. And then hold up. You said that your kids are going to your neighbors' homes and your neighbors are having parties. Is it the neighbors or the kids having? No, there's a 22-year-old. Oh, I apologize. I missed that. So the 22-year-old is having parties, and who's going to that house? My daughter. Oh, your 14-year-old daughter's going over there? And how long has that been going on for? Oh, well, he's been a bad kid for years. Bad kid? How long has your daughter been friends with the other kid for? Oh, it's her best friend. So she's always over there with the older kids that are doing bad stuff. Oh my God. Right? Do you see how that gap just built? Well, what happens if we don't get that bigger home in that backyard? I mean, what's more important? Like the bigger house or the bigger backyard? So your daughter wants to be at home and away from the old kid. Like what's more important? You being able to watch your daughter so she's not influenced by these older boys that are partying and drinking and God knows what else they're doing? Or is it more important to have the bigger house and space? Well, it's definitely more important for me as the father to make sure she's safe. And how long have you been feeling she's not safe for? Right? Do you see how I pick up on the words when we probe and clarify? And now we have a huge gap, right? The bigger the gap, the less interest rates and pricing matters. Oh, we have to go a little bit farther out to be, oh, well, yeah, I understand. Like you probably have to go about an extra 15 minutes out. But what's more important, like being close to the city or having your daughter safe? Well, no, having our daughter safe. And what's more important, being closer to your work or your kids going to the right school? What's more important? Your kids not fighting and screaming and everybody in the house always on edge, or being 10 minutes closer to work, right? Do you see how we're now able to utilize the information we got in the first 7 minutes to build that massive gap? This is where agents fail. I don't need to talk about my skills or my company or how long I've been a realtor for. I don't need to talk about how great ABC company is. I don't need to talk about how many sales our team made. I don't need to talk about that because I built a gap, and they can see based off of my questions and my listening ability, right, that I have a process. And when they see that I have a process, they say, oh my God, wow. They forget about what's going on in their world. Now, when we have the commission talk at the end, yeah, you guys, and we have a whole presentation. I mean, check this guys out. Like, we have the whole presentation. Like, look at this thing. It's all written out for you. So easy just to copy and paste it into your own world. Imagine if you had that buyer presentation, right? And you could talk about how you help manufacture listings. You could talk about how inventory is at an all-time low, but your 4-phase process to manufacture listings allows you to find off-market properties, allows you to find all of the opportunities in the world. Imagine when you guys have that in your back pocket, right? Like our clients have, because we have group classes, we have individual for teams, and we have a portal with the foundations and the buyer and the listing presentation so that you can go out and be a top agent. You don't need to rely on a team. You don't have to keep buying shitty leads, right? Everybody buys the shitty leads. And then they're like, well, what do we do with these leads? I'm like, I don't know. You're the one who bought them. You tell me. Like, why'd you buy all these leads? I don't know. It's what we were told to do. No, what we need to do is we need to build our foundation strong, right? For the ladies, even the gentlemen nowadays, right? I'm one of the weirdos. I just go to anybody to get my hair cut. It's not that big of a deal. Ciao, gracias. No sé cuánto. Tienes 40. Tienes 40. 10, 25. 20. 20 y el viernes. No, necesito pegar 35. So yo pago medio. 40 y viernes. En la tarde. Viernes en la tarde. Sí. Gracias. Viernes en la tarde a la 1. Oh, sí, escribe yo porque necesito, vamos a la cédula. So, cédulas a las 11. So, yo vamos a las 12, pero escribe con... Sí, and maybe, sí. Okay, gracias, ciao. You guys I had to talk to my housekeeper. She's taken off. So imagine if you had all of that in your back pocket. Imagine if you had a feedback loop, right, that actually gave you the training. So you had the confidence, you had the skills. So you're not just talking to people and winging it. You're actually having amazing conversations, because so many agents lack this, right? In a unique selling model, right? In a unique selling model, we have 3 buckets, right? So beautiful circles. Bucket number 1 is our delivery, right? How are we delivering, right? How is our tone, right? How is our pace? And how are we at being conversational, right? So many of you guys sound like robots on the phone. So many of you guys sound like robots, like when you're talking to people you don't know. The second thing we need to talk about is our feedback loop, right? You guys, I got to run, so I'm just going to hit the feedback loop. It's actually the third thing that we talk about, but I got to run. And inside of the feedback loop, we got to think about this, right? If you're a professional, right? If you're a professional athlete, you do what? Well, you do video review. So in our feedback loop, we do call reviews, right? Well, you're also, if you're a professional sports player, your coach is teaching you what? Plays. So inside of our feedback loop, we give you play review, right? Or we help you work on your scripts so that when you guys go out, your scripts don't sound like you're a scripted monkey, right? And the other thing we need in our feedback loop is our tone. Who's actually helping you with your tone when you're out and about? Or do you not worry about tone? Do you sound like everybody else? It's super important that we have the proper feedback loop. And this is what we do inside of our advanced programs. We review your calls, we review your scripts, we review your objection handlers, we review your tone and your pace, right? We review your structured, right? Because nobody wants to sound scripted, but we help you create structured frameworks, right? This is what we do inside of our programs. We teach you the step by step. How do you have great delivery? How do you have the proper structured frameworks that work with human behavior and psychology, right? Or are you just saying what everybody else is saying? Anyways, you guys, if you want some help, join me inside the Real Estate Sales Dojo, or just type in listings below and I will get you more information. I got to go help a client right now. Love you guys. Peace out.